Hey, Vax here. So today I want to go over tier ranking abilities on offense and defense in MUT right now. Obviously, if you're in regs, this will kind of help you if you want to decide what the ability to add to a certain player at a certain position. We're gonna go through abilities I want to see created. It was funny because I did the same video. It's been since Madden 17 or MUT 17 since I did it. We talked about new abilities in MUT. Then I went through and gave my opinions on things that I think maybe should have been added or should add to the game. And it's so funny looking back on this stuff. Break the pocket, right? Like if you recall back in the old MUTs, for a few years there, like quarterbacks on line of scrimmage were like snails because of how powerful they were for years. So basically added a break the pocket ability, which became a escape artist. They jacked my whole stuff. My whole flow got hit. Now some of this stuff always incomplete. If you're hit while throwing the animation, will end up like Madden 16, always be incomplete instead of a fumble. Like some of this stuff, like it would be nice to have. They didn't add, but I wanna go through like double juke. Double juke, I guess technically back in 22 regardless. Mortal Kombat special and button inputs for celebrations. They didn't make it like special inputs. They just made celebrations in the game now. Force the opponent to use mat. That's not a really thing. Oh, cancel. I don't know why that's there. Unbent, unbowed, unbroken, can't get hit sticked, always lands a good hit stick animation, basically tank and enforcer. Do you know Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard? See defensive play art? That totally became a thing too. One for defense called Van Gogh. I don't know, just funny. Mining in Yellowstone, running back can't be stripped. Strip mining, I guess, is what I was thinking there. It can't be like, I guess strip was a big deal back then. It's not really strip doesn't really work anymore on running backs. On quarterbacks, a strip special is a thing. Clutch kicking, that became a thing. Downfield blocker, cool, quick release. This became gunslinger. So interesting things back in the old one. So let's go through the tier list before we go through the abilities I want to see added. I put out a Twitter thing. There's some incredible ideas out there. Some absolute bangers that need to be added to Madden. Some that are more of a joke. Some that are kind of interesting I want to talk about. So let's go through the tier list. I think offense, like it's strange, right? I think Escape Artist is by far the best ability in the game. Like defense, it goes only to S. The only S plus in the game is offense is Escape Artist. It's insane. Right now with the RPO cheese that's still in the game, Escape Artist will outrun everybody, even contains out there, unless you have like the fastest of the fastest. Even then, Escape Artist will just swerve around your Lawrence Taylor. It's very frustrating. I think Escape Artist is an S plus tier. It's all on its own for an ability in this game. But because you get other players, right? Escape Artists currently can't get set feet lead, pass lead lead, or gunslinger, hot rod master. You will see a lot more of the Dan Marinos with pass lead lead or set feet lead combined with hot route master, and those things together, in my opinion, at least how I play football, I like a lot more than Escape Artist. So it's a weird blend right now, and I really like the variety that's out there, right? If you want to go with the pure speed, you go with the Mariota, the Cam, the Vic, those kind of guys. But if you want to go with the more pocket passers, those guys are equally relevant. So like a lot of people say, just get rid of abilities, and abilities like things they make players that are generally not relevant super relevant, right? Dan Marino would be trash. Tom Brady would be trash if it weren't for abilities that allowed them to actually throw the ball and make them relevant. So or else we'd all just be running with Michael Vick right now, right? Or Mariota. Everybody would run the same quarterbacks, just like Madden's old. So abilities definitely have their upside for that reason. And for that reason, I do think, maybe quarterbacks and other positions that are maybe slower, Larry Fitzgerald, maybe the older guys are a little bit slower wide receivers, maybe they should get a little bit of a break on some AP for some of these abilities to make them more relevant. So I hope they do something like that, like they did with Cam Chancellor from Master, right? They gave him special abilities. They gave him cheaper abilities in his 4 slot. So hopefully they can do something like that in the future for other players that maybe aren't the meta with speed. So I'm not going to go through every single ability, but I'm going to go through and talk about this. Playmaker can't be put in the game right now unless you have a glitched out Vernon Davis. I don't think they took it away from people, sadly, so that's overpowered as heck. But quarterback playmaker, it's kind of expensive, right? You see me, I wrote too expensive, so it's A tier, but if you get a playmaker like that, it's so fast, right? I think, was it Brawlers on the subreddit? I don't want to misquote who it was, but it was a little bit ago, talked about, basically uncounterable moves in fighting games are 7 frames or less, right? So you can't even counter them because they're so fast, right? And Playmaker is 2 frames. 2 frames to go somewhere else. It's so incredibly powerful. It's crazy. So I'm not looking forward to Playmaker being in this game anymore. But by the end of the year, I guess we'll all just tap out anyways and move on to MLB The Show. I think Deadeyes, I do not like their inclusion in the game. The only reason they're S tier instead of S plus is because the S plus one inside Deadeye got nerfed. So inside Deadeye is down to B tier. But roaming, long range, sideline, you shouldn't be able to do a 360 no scope 50 yards down the field. Like, we watched Josh Allen this past week in football when he was running right, running to his right, he's right hand quarter, running right. He threw a guy, it wasn't even that far behind him, but he threw across his body. He bounced it on a very important, I think it was 4th down play at the end of the game. He bounced it to the receiver 20 yards away. And in Madden, if that was 50, he would have slinged it with these abilities on the dot, right? And it would have, like, the defender was like draped over the receiver. It wouldn't have mattered. These Deadeye abilities, I think, are horrible for the game. They make it look so unrealistic, so awful. Really bail out bad decisions, and they I think, hopefully next year they're gone. All right. Bruiser, Bulldozer, Jukebox. I do think running the ball is very powerful right now. Offense, as you guys know, is powerful. Just, there's no bones about it. The offensive ball is super incredible, strong. Bruiser, Bulldozer. Bruiser's good. And Bulldoze is good because it's got it included. I always mix up which one's the big one, which one's, I think Bulldoze is a truck and Bruiser's the truck and stiff arm. The reason Bruiser's is here because I think Bulldozer with Derrick Henry, it's just, forget about it. It sucks. Jukebox itself, very fast. The reason spin cycle is a tier lower, because I think the natural spin, you don't even need spin cycle for it. So just spend the 1 AP on like a evasive bat for Jukebox. Don't do the 2 AP one, or don't waste the AP on spin cycle, because I think it's good enough already. Evasive, right? Evasive is 2 AP. And I think you just want the 1 AP for Jukebox instead. All right, we went through those things. QB Playmaker. Apprentices are super nice. I think Hot Rod Master being 2 AP, it's very close to S+, but I put it at S because you still have to make reads and make dots with it. So the Apprentices are a little bit lower because they're kind of expensive. When this is only 2 AP and Slot Apprentice is 2 AP, it's a big ripoff. And the Slot Apprentice goes in route Hot Rod Master Plus. It has all the other ones combined. Conductor, Spin Cycle, it's still good, don't get me wrong. Threat Detector, Fearless Identifier. Dude, a lot of people underrate 1 AP on a field general quarterback. Having the information about what your opponent's doing, what they want to do before the snap, it's kind of a big deal. And for only 1 AP, you should definitely be able to carve it out. If you're on field general, otherwise 2 AP, it's getting a little bit pricier and it'd probably move down. So it really depends on what quarterback that you have identifier, because doubling the price of something makes it kind of expensive. Being low, like, I think Bs are all usable. Actually, I love post up. Post up, I should have put a little higher. I think post up's definitely A tier. So this isn't like, there's always, I could go back and forth in some stuff. Post up is almost good enough to be an S tier. That's how much I like. A lot of the meta right now, this is all next gen, right? You see next gen only. We'll talk about the previous gen stuff here in a second. A lot of the meta right now is basically rush 2, rush 3, and then cover everybody and cover like double Mabel, put it over to cover 3, whatever. So having post ups that can basically shut their 2-man 3-man rush down quite effectively instead of them instantly splitting double teams, it's kind of important. So I'm gonna go S tier for post up, actually. Yeah, I don't really want to do too much. I don't really want to talk about these things. I know, like, run off elite could be good. Wait, on the ball, that's the defensive one, right? Oh shoot, did I screw that up? I know I just added that. Is on the ball the one where they don't get, yeah, run off elite? I haven't seen anybody really talk about that one, so it's kind of untested. I'm not really a runner, and it seems stupid, so I put it at C tier. It could be okay, but everything down here, I don't know. Human joystick's way too expensive. On current gen, I think human joystick's insane. On next gen, human joystick really didn't do anything for me. All right, defense. Acrobat, inside stuff, I think are the S tier. Those are the best 2 abilities in the game. Inside stuff just recently got a buff in the last patch and now works against other things, not just inside. The thing about inside, not just like inside zone stuff. Now, the thing about inside stuff is on current gen, it is so significantly better than next gen. It's crazy. In next gen, it's like all right, but on current gen, it's like blows it up like a nuke. So you got to kind of take that into account. Inside stuff, I think, is S tier, though. The crazy thing is I'm not running inside stuff. So I think I might start running it. But, yeah, the run is... It's crazy. Like, the run is super powerful, but I think the pass is just more fun. So I still play more passers, but I have a harder time against runners. And I hate my life against runners. So I had to go to 3-5 wide. And it sucks that you're forced into a scheme on defense because of what the offense does, and the scheme isn't like matching personnel. It's going to 3-5 wide because you just get better gap fills or something. A tier, mid zone KO, deep route KO it can be a real pain, right? If you've played somebody with deep route KO, they will absolutely rob your soul. Now, deep route KO, it's interesting because like sometimes deep route KO gets burned so badly in man coverage that it doesn't even activate. But so like you really need like a full Raiders theme team 50 out of 50 with what you need absolute like top end speed to make deep route KO work, or else you're just basically giving up bombs if people know how to play against you, because deep route KO is pretty easy, or deep routes are pretty easy to beat. But that will bail you out and make the offense so angry at times. B tier, under pressure, El Toro, secure tackler. I heard secure tackler this year basically has a built-in stonewall. So secure tackler is a little bit nicer, but still, it's only one player. So like, if we're gonna add stonewall on the multiple players, I think it'd be much more valuable. But the fact that it only goes on one, it's just basically useless. I get one defender for that, and like, it's like, I don't know. It's not very powerful. Enforcer, I think Enforcer is nice, but man, I wish Enforcer were like higher up here. I wish Enforcer really messed up running backs and stuff like it used to. No, it's that it's Crusher and Deflator. I still have no idea the difference between them. This one's just more expensive than this. I saw one fumble from Ray Lewis using Crusher, but it was kind of like, it was like a cheap shot because the guy had already broken a tackle and he crushed him right after the tackle got broke. Out my way. It's really nice if you put it on like your safeties and throw them out at like nickel or something. Cam Chancellor and kickoffs, a menace with Out My Way. I use that there. Then we got Tackling Supreme. I do like Speedster, Unpredictable, Double or Nothing on next gen. On current gen, Edge Threat is what you want to use. It is so crazy on the current gen, but on next gen, Edge Threat is really bad. So I don't know. I just kind of put it at D. I did face somebody using Edge Threat and Speedster, and they were using it and getting insta sheds every time the entire game. So it was basically just like quick dump offs, and I ended up beating them pretty easily, I think, because I think I ended up just like double teaming the guy with a tight end in the tackle over there, and he basically got stonewalled at that point. But for a little bit, I couldn't stop it, for the first few couple plays. So it's good to catch people off guard. Same thing like El Toro, just get in there, use it one time, and then take it out, then just use it again, and you can get insta sheds and really mess people up with it. It's a good change of pace, in my opinion. Defensive Rally is a D tier. In effect, it's more like, C tier. But the problem with Defensive Rally is that you really need to link it in to something like Double or Nothing. Like if you go Double or Nothings in Defensive Rally, because Double or Nothings will churn through your points on your defensive line, and then Defensive Rally will, obviously bring it back up. So really, a lot of these things. Oh shoot, is the baby crying? No, I'm just having dreams. All right, let's move on. That's it. That's all I gotta say about that. I think I'll put the link to this in the description if you guys want to go back to it. All right, what abilities need to be added? Pop up. There it is. All right, abilities that need to be added. There's a long list of them. I talked about this. Could also make abilities have different tiers. I kind of like the 2K badge idea. To make the abilities better. Like Gunslinger could have like a bronze, silver, and gold Gunslinger, where like you get faster, you get even faster than you get the top tier gold level Gunslinger. And they could like have different ways of unlocking it. It'd be great for like the yard, obviously. It would be great for Mutt for like progression. Once we get to like 99 overalls, like what's a better 99? It's, a faster Gunslinger. All right, the biggest one, and I put out a tweet on this. The biggest feedback I got was contains, right? I ended up putting a poll because of the amount of contain feedback I've gotten, and myself too. I think there does need to be a contain superpower. I think there needs to be an escape artist, basically speed boost, when you have contains on the field, and the quarterback maybe hits like right trigger, or the quarterback starts to scramble. Like as soon as the quarterback hits the right trigger button, contain superpower should pop on if you have contains on the field. If you don't, then they don't do anything. We have contains on the field, right? They don't really get a good pass rush, and that's like part of the thing. They do like a mush rush. But I think as soon as the offense even touches that right trigger, it should pop up. I don't mind this superpower like escape artist. Obviously, like put it at like 1 or 2 AP to start. Then if it's super crazy, you can kind of move it, because an escape artist quarterback, it takes 2 AP on one guy for an escape artist. But contains, if they make it like more than 2 AP, it would be stupid, because then I got to put 4 AP to contain the offensive side getting 2 AP, and the game is so offensive focused right now that I don't mind those kind of counter abilities, but they should probably be worth it. Because if I go against somebody like Dan Marino, I basically have just wasted all that AP. So contain superpower like escape artist would be kind of cool, a little speed boost for contains. So that stops the run better. So like I talked about like right here, this is just a note that I made. But another linebacker escape artist, but only on linebackers, not on safeties. Help balance out the linebacker versus safety meta right now, because everybody's using safety as a linebacker, because not only faster, you also have to put AP on them to make them jump for interceptions. So a linebacker escape artist on runs to shoot the gap. So like if they're going for the, like, linebackers right now don't read runs very well. They stay very flat-footed on dives. It's very annoying, especially at goal line. Your defensive line gets pushed back 2 yards, and then like a guy will lead up, and your linebacker will get hit by the guard or whatever it is, getting off the double team, and you're 5 yards deep by the time the guy gets to the freaking line of scrimmage. So an escape artist that really shoots the gap hard on the run, that basically is just like, right? Just like give the same acceleration bonus you give to quarterbacks when they hit that right trigger to a CPU linebacker for doing the same thing. And maybe make it a user and CPU, either one of them. So it's only against the run, obviously, or, you know, RPOs, that kind of stuff. Screens, make it good against screens too. So that kind of stuff, an escape artist for the run. But I think 4 AP, that might be a little aggressive. I could see it down because it only works against the run, only works against like half the plays, if that. People probably run 30 to 40%. 2 AP for the linebacker escape artist, because, you know, it's still linebacker. You still got to invest another AP on lurker, or 2 AP on some of the guys. That's not a bad idea. Toe tap sideline specialist improves boundary catch animations. Now, I think that's a great idea. I know taller guys get better boundary animations. That's what I've seen in my usage. That's why my, like, you know, my slot is Brandon Marshall at 6'5". But I think it's not a bad idea to get the good animations near the sidelines. The issue is, like, then does that become way too overpowered? Because, you know, roll out corners right now, block a tight end, roll out. The tight end can stop a contain flat, and you just roll out and throw the boundary. So, like, having the boundary catch animations, like, perfect. Is that something that we actually want in the game? So that's kind of something that the devs would have to talk about and think about. Is that good for the game to have 100% boundary catch animations? Crossman specialist, ability to crossman anyone on the field. Now, if you guys recall back to Madden 17 was the last time we had crossmans. Basically, they always run like some sort of like dollar at that point, but nickel blitz was also huge. But anyways, you would take your dollar or your nickel or whatever it was and just crossman. And that back in the day, that was the only way you could play crossers, because there's no zone drops and stuff. So crossman specialist, you can already crossman with safeties and linebackers, but, like, you know, they'd have it from the other DB to the other side of the ball. Not a bad idea. You know, if you have to pay AP to do something, I think that's enough of a balance right there, just a crossman. But, you know, obviously meta effects would take a punch there. A peanut punch, basically, you know, like the JJ Watt 6-piece. He'll just keep punching you. Maybe he'll miss one, hit your quarterback in the nads a little bit. That was probably the funniest TJ Watt miss of his career. But it's kind of similar to strip specialist, but peanut punch. I don't know if I love, like, fumbles being more consistent. So I'm up in the air on the peanut punch. Maybe there's like an input, right? If you hit them perfectly, right? Then maybe there's like a sweet spot. I don't know. Maybe they can have like a meter, kind of like how FIFA has a meter for like shooting. Maybe there can be a peanut punch meter or a strip specialist meter that, like, if you time it perfectly, then there's like feedback on the screen when you hit the button. Man, that's not a bad idea then. D linemen that swat the ball, right? D linemen right now don't reach up. Like, unless they're blitzing, right? You've seen unblocked guys jump, right? It's weird. Linebackers don't jump unless they're on a blitz. It's mind blowing. So D linemen that actually swat the ball, like we saw Cam Hayward intercept the ball at the D line. But right now, the only way you're getting a ball like bumped down at the line is if you throw it like a low pass in the back of your offense line, right? If you're using like Kyler Murray and you throw it in the back of your offensive lineman in a game. So D linemen that actually jump up and swat the ball. It's not bad for an ability, right? It's not a bad idea for an ability. I don't want it to happen naturally, though. Gap beater. Run stopping DT that takes up double teams that can't be disengaged. You can maybe have a counter on offense for this, too. But this is a really great idea, right? This would be perfect for, like, the grave digger. This would be perfect for, like, those big legendary run stuffers of the past. But, like, just run stopping DTs, right? Not like pass rushers. I mean, I guess if Warren Sapp's a 99 overall, you can go ahead and give him the ability. But the gap eater ability makes, you know, a consistent double team that, like, you know, they really drew during these careers. And if they didn't get double teamed, then they just, like, swallowed up, like Vince Wilfork swallowed up the ball carrier. It's why Seattle didn't want to run at the goal line. He was running right into Vince Wilfork's castle. But Zone Master, I think this is the best one of the entire bunch. Additional zones added to each player. Clouds 3x. I think the deep zone is really cool, right? I think, like, if you have the zone master, kind of like hot route master, maybe it could be on your middle linebacker and go to your whole defense, but it adds like different spots or zones that you can kind of go to. And obviously the Madden team would have to discuss what are the most valuable zones to add to this. But I think, like, adding like a deep zone to like a slot, which is something you'd have to go like big nickel normally to do, but you get extra hot routes on it. I think this is a great idea. This one just has to be added. Lob specialist, harder for defenders to reach interceptions when they're burned, when they're behind the wide receiver on streaks and corners, but only when a lob is shown. I know there is a lob. What the heck is it called? One of these deadeyes, lofting deadeye. But like deadeyes are weird. They're like, I don't know. They don't exactly throw it exactly where you need it to be. They kind of like, they get it on the body, but they're like, the pass leads are weird sometimes. So you can throw picks because it throws behind the player. I don't know. So like deadeyes are weird, but I don't know if I love this. This is probably just kind of like a thought for like, because, you know, how often do you throw like a ball and your receiver is past the DB and then the guy clicks on and just swerves in front and picks it. And you're like, huh, that kind of sucked. Moves like Jagger. QBs juke and spin behind the line of scrimmage. I don't hate it, right? It's a, you know, escape artist, add the moves, and you got yourself a tap dancing fool back there. Somebody suggested, and I don't know. Let me know in the comment section what you think about just to play a Deadeye and make like so all your passes are accurate, but make it like 8 AP. Get rid of all the other Deadeyes, right? Because people basically use these Deadeyes. They use the sideline, long range, roaming especially, right? All you have to do is take your finger off the trigger, then it's perfect accuracy. They use these Deadeyes to get perfect accuracy wherever. So make it like incredibly expensive, and then like, all right, you can have it, but it's going to cost a lot. But I that's a fine. If they want to keep Deadeyes, I don't mind that solution. Just a plain Deadeye that makes it perfect. Stunt specialist allows you to designate the whole angle that a player takes on a blitz. I know there's like no stunts in the game anymore, right? We used, you know, nanos kind of killed stunts for Madden. They kind of took them out, but I actually kind of like this, right? Say, all right, I want my nickel to go around the edge, right? Because oftentimes when you put a nickel on a blitz, he'll like run to the middle of the line, right? And so like this is, I don't know, you shouldn't need an ability for this, but like maybe like if you designate a looping blitz, like you have your middle linebacker, put on your stunt specialist, and then you could designate with your maybe your joystick which line that he's gonna go to, which spot he's gonna go to, and then you could designate that every time. I don't mind that as an ability at all. Snap count elite for offline only. A higher chance to get the D-line to go offsides for a free play. Again, offline only. Screensaver greatly boosts your chance if D-linemen linebackers read the screen and react quickly. Pitch perfect. Executing a lateral gives stamina or some big boost. I mean, I know they got great laterals in the yard. And Mutt lateral's a lot harder, but I think that's kind of cool. That added a little bit of fun into the game. A little hook and ladder action. Wingspan elite. Again, linebackers only. Linebackers only. Gives tackling cone like back of the day, allows conservative tackles in it. Now, we already have the jump tackles that are crazy powerful, but getting a tackling cone and warp tackles back, but only for linebackers. It's not a bad idea to rebalance linebackers versus DBs, at least that way too. Road grader, if the user backs away from the blocker, he gets pushed over. This should just happen normally. The best run defense I face right now is people hovering the line, then do a little circle, and then the lineman goes like, oh, whoa, he did a circle. His back's to me. I don't know what happened. Instead, in real life, they would get pushed over if they try and disengage away from a blocker on a run block. Obviously, the pass block, you disengage away. You can easily disengage away. But on a run block, they should be pushed over. So, road grader, push them over. At least, if you're not going to do it normally, do it on an ability. Improve scramble drills for wide receivers. And then, like, obviously, the other way, too. Scramble drill right now just needs an overhaul in Madden. But a scrambled ability to make them better. You know? Make them super powered scrambles, and then like obviously better catching. You know, find targets, get knockdowns, much improved reactions for defenders, but better catching for wide receivers too on the scramble. Tandem abilities. Now this is not really tandem. I don't really love this as an ability. So like tandem, yeah, maybe tandem. We'll say not ability. When two legendary players in the field together, they get boosts. Something else, yeah, something probably not an ability not needed, something else though. So like if you have Gronk and Brady together, maybe they can get a little bit boost to their abilities. It's kind of like the, you know, the hero promo that we used to have in Madden. Learned ability. If a team keeps running corner routes, completing them, the person learns and plays it smarter. This was suggested on Twitter. I don't know. I'm on the fence about this. I think like just give us the tools to adjust to it. I'm totally okay. So we do have zone drops now. If they keep running the corner route, you can just zone drop to it. All right, hands off. Where D-line is unable to grab a running back when engaged into a block. I think this is very dangerous. I don't want to buff the run any more than it already is, but it's not a bad idea overall. I wouldn't give it to like power backs because then they just, you know, run a dive and then like you'd never stop them. unstoppable. Once a pass rusher gets past the line of scrimmage or the offensive line, if there's a blocking running back, they're almost guaranteed to absolutely destroy the running back with ease and get past them. Now, if this, I don't know, is this, I really haven't tied. I talked about it on defense here. The out my way. Is this how out my way works? Does defensive ends get out my way? Does this work? But it's still like the running back, like out my way, it kind of like still takes a second to get past them. I want to be absolutely destroyed. So like, if I go past you, nobody's standing in front of some of these like just beasts of humans. Like there's some great pass blocking running backs, but man, I don't know. I wouldn't want to be standing between like, I don't know, Aaron Donald and the quarterback. If I'm a running back, I'm like, I'm dead. All right, stop the presses. Wide receivers can't get pressed at the line of scrimmage. I don't hate it. 2-minute men, no huddle, brings the menu like it does offline. I hope you guys like my title for that one. Last action hero. Play action makes linebackers bite down hard, and specifically safeties even harder. Like they like fill the gap like they're run committing almost. So I actually don't mind last action hero right here. I know they've done stuff for like pump fake, and that ended up bringing some exploits, so they basically made it useless. But last action hero. So play action. Human joystick, but for defenders, all your dive are belong to us. Dive tackle, slide off the ball carrier. I said, like, I got this on Twitter too. This is my little notes. Lol, bad idea. Combine this and tank, and then how you gonna tackle the freaking dude? Tactical nuke. This one was from K-Mac. Go up 25 points and it drops a nuke on the field and kicks your opponent out of the game. That's actually kind of funny. I actually really like that one. So there you go. Tier ranking them and going through the new ones. Wow, long video. I apologize for videos. I should have just made 2 videos. But you got a twofer. Hope you guys liked it. Please sub. We're going for 100K this year. We're going to try and make it, boys. We are. But we're all going to make it. Take it easy.